Okay, guys. So, what was the last question? I forgot. Ricardo had the last question, but I forgot which one was that. Okay, here. Pop, 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 pop. So yes, related to the yeah. So I think I want to look for the information right here. Common European Framework of References. Uh-huh. Uh-uh. No, this is not. Oh, this is one. No, this is not. Common European Framework of References. That is not. Here, there's one. There's one. Guys, I recommend you to enter to this web page. And here, but it's not that explicit. I wrote for the C1 levels because you should have accurate fluency. Yes, but we need to look far beyond that, right? Yeah, I know what you mean, but I'm going to recommend you right here two books as soon as this web page works. Right, let's put it here. Oh, I don't know why it's not working. Why not? Okay, here, for example, if you go right here, let's minimize this. If you go right here, there's one. This and this. So I'm going to copy and paste this links for you to use them. That is going to be the classic one, and this is going to be just the new one. Yeah, I know what you mean because I think you have seen maybe the grid, the chart, in which there is information about that, right? So like what to do, what to take into account. But looking far beyond that, we can find more information on what is going to be estimated inside the C1 level, right? Because right here, I don't know if there's a, no, no, here. For example, right here, it is going to tell you what to take into account for each one of those parameters, right? For example, right here, study descriptors, reception activities, production activities, spoken production, right? So right here, yeah, it tells you what you are going to take into account for C1 and C2 level, right? Like a description, you know what you mean. But if I'm not wrong, right here is going to tell you what the C1, not all of production. Right here. So this is going to be some of the ideas that we can take into account for as a guide. Now that I remember, it's going to tell you as a guide what to take into account for it to be developed, right? Now, in order to talk about what a C1 level in English is, I think we have to go. What happened right here? Well, we have to go to we need to take into account what are going to be some like the here to go to the British Council webpage for it to tell us what is going to be the ideas, which are going to be the equivalents or in there. And if I'm not wrong, we're going to look further information from the CPE test, right? So it's going to tell us what to take into account as a summary, but if I'm not wrong, it's going to be CPE Cambridge handbook. This one. Wow. C2. Well, anyway, it works in this way, but it's the handbook that you need, right? In the handbook, uh-huh, right? So in the handbook, you're going to find, as soon as it loads, it's going to tell you what to take into account, which are going to be just the ways in which the exam is going to be is going to be implemented, right? About the exam and the issues to be taken into account for this part. Okay, so most of it is going to be done in this way, right? So here is going to be taken into account that. I know this is not going to give you like most of your answers, but we need to what to look for different ideas in order for us to solve the the doubt we have inside the sorry about this topic. Okay, it's kind of difficult, but well. So what I can tell you is to look information maybe inside the Cambridge web page about C1.
Silence your microphones, please.
Who's the one with the dog in the background?
Ah, okay.
Aha. Now we have right here what C1 level is, right? And what to be taken into account. But right here it is going to show you just the what the exam as it is. But the rest of the information can be found inside the ouch. Sorry. Here it can be found inside the Common European Framework of References book. This one right here. Okay. Now in this part, I don't know why, but I can't find the index. Well, anyway, so that's the idea. Okay. So what I recommend you, Ricardo, Lina, for this is to one read all the ideas related to what to be achieved inside the C1 level, right? For the oral part. By taking that into account, what I can tell you is to elaborate a very good text. Cámara lenta. That's because of the internet connection. Can you listen to me very well?
Yeah.
It's
Yep. No
I don't
problem.
understand. Lena, it's your connection. Ah, got it. Okay, I think I can call Lena. Now what's the give me a second. Thank you, Alex, for sharing inside the group. Lena. Give me a second. I'm going to see if I can do this. Well, I was calling Lena for her to be connected with the related to the oral part in the cell phone, but it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to continue. Got it. So what happened? Okay, cool. Now, it says right here, it's aimed to validate the theories behind the study. Yes, you are conducting. Yes, of course. I have a vague idea on what we could work, but we might need help. Of course, you're going to need help, and that is why I'm here. Okay, so worry not. What I want to do today is to clarify all the ideas related to the theoretical framework. Okay, so not to worry. If you feel free to ask questions about this topic related to your project, do it, right? Because this is your time. Okay.
Teacher,
Yes.
in case we don't finish the class, could we meet tomorrow?
Tutorials? Yes. Let's say 11 p.m. 11 p.m. 11 a.m.
Okay.
Okay. In case we don't finish, in case we don't, you're still with the doubts, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Not to worry. Yeah, we can do it in that way. Okay. Cool. I'm going to continue with part of the theory that I wanted to show right here. Okay. Let's call it. Give me a moment. Give me a second. Hola, Lina. Para que entonces me alcanza a ver en su pantalla.
No, yo cerré y volví, estoy volviendo a entrar a ver si ya me está conectando.
Bueno, de todas maneras voy a dejarle el audio. ¿Está utilizándolo por computador o por celular?
Computador.
Ah, listo. Entonces, de todas maneras voy a dejarle activado el audio para que pues, no se pierda. Listo. Ya creo que entró.
Bueno,
Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So as I was telling you right here, ¿qué pasó? Colgó. Ah, va. Anyway, cool. As I was telling you right here, the theory is going to be that backbone, la columna vertebral, for us to show the real nature of the problem, right? So right here, what is going to be taken into account in this part? So, for example, we're going to see right here these ideas. So you're going to purpose or work on the purpose of the training program. Let's say you have a training program. We're going to work with that, right? And then we're going to show right here, which is going to be yeah. So for example, we're going to show what is going to be the learning skills, knowledge, attitudes, everything that you need to put inside your theoretical framework for us to analyze or to comprehend the nature of our project, right? Then, for example, if there's a training program design decisions, if the learning process occurs inside the program, right? If there is a change of job performances, if there is everything inside the theory, right? That could help us validate all the aspects what we were talking about inside the problem, right? Now, can we use more than 2 or 3 authors about talking about this? Yes, of course. The more authors, the better. Okay. Give me a second. Please read that information. Okay, Lina, don't hang out for you to listen. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm going to continue. So right here, what we're going to take into account right here is going to be that the theory is not a guess or a belief. No, a theory right here is going to be everything that is going to be found inside the academic world, right? So every discovery, every study, everything related to that is going to be part of that. So, for example, we're going to talk about anxiety, but we have, let's say, 5 authors talking about anxiety. Use them, right? Okay. But how a discovery could become a theory? Well, maybe I'm going to reshape this. Maybe not discovery. Um, the results of the what? Of the study, right? The findings. Yes, of course. So that is going to help us understand the phenomena in a very good way. How can we define, how can a finding become a theory? No, that's the theory, right? Meaning that there's a study, and that study says that by implementing some, let's say, a strategy, it worked or it helped students to develop their oral production skills by implementing that strategy, right? So that is going to be the theory, right? So it says that by implementing that alternative, you are going to get this and this and these results, right? So that is going to be part of the theory, right? The theory right here is not going to be something like I'm going to be inside the theoretical framework of another project and I'm going to copy and paste that. No, that is not, okay? But the alternative has a previous theory. Yes, of course. How can be it useful? But the alternative has a previous theory. Okay, so if there is a previous theory and then a subsequent theory, meaning that we have been that some authors have been working about that, and you can use that at a chronological way. Therefore, you can do a comparison between what it was researched before and what is researched uh, some years ago, let's suppose, right? And how useful is going to be that for your project, right? So therefore, let's suppose that I'm talking about connectivism in 2005, but then I followed the researchers, and I have seen some improvements in 2013. And then let's say that in 2017, I found some other improvements, right? So I can work with all of that information for me to say that by working on learning environments, the Web 2.0 is going to be a very important element for both students and teachers to share information at a synchronous and asynchronous way, right? So that could be part of my theory. So what I'm saying is this: you're going to redefine the whole study, right, or the whole definition in your own terms for it to be useful for you, right? So that's the way it's going to work. Yeah, it's kind of complicated, but okay, I'm gonna try to make it shorter. Okay, so I guess that even in Spanish I won't get that. No, not to worry. The secret right here is writing. Okay, so let's suppose you have found information about 1983. Let's suppose that there's going to be a theory related to order production. That works because it was a theory, right? Let's suppose we have used, let's say, it's Chomsky, right? And then we're going to work or we're going to read some other things related to Brown 2001. And he talks about order production, right? So therefore, I'm going to use those books or those studies. In the end, a book is going to be a compilation of studies, right? For us to know the nature of the theory on how it was created, what is the aim of that theory to solve, right? So what is the objective of that theory, right? What can we get with that theory? And once we have known about that, the only thing that we can do is to use all of that information, reshape it for us to take advantage about it inside our research. That's it. But this is not literature. No, 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 no. I'm not talking about literature review. I'm talking about theory, right? Talking about theory. The literature review is going to be something different. I'm talking about the research topic, okay? So yes, well, yes, there are studies, but you can use studies also as part of your theory, right? So it is going to be just related to our topic of research. And that topic of research, a research topic, is going to be just focused on the way we have created the problem, right? What we want to understand. So example, what is our research topic? So let's say, you have already enrolled your research topic. Yes. So that is going to be, yes, you have introduced it. Now, no inside the what the so inside is the theory. No, the theory is going to explain the research topic. Okay, what is the research topic? Example. What? Got it. So let's say something like a lack of oral production skills inside B1 C1 course, right? So that is going to be the whole thing. Now, which elements are going to be inside that? Oral production at C1 level. Now, what is inside the C1 level? What it means or why it is necessary required for students to have at that level, right? And how to develop the oral production. So that is going to be part of the research topic. Now, culture. So now how cultural background or teaching culture is going to help us improving that. So now we're going to use, if there are going to be some courses or theories related to teaching language cultural classes for us to get that level, let's suppose, right? Okay. Now, so it's going to be like that. So we're going to explain all of those factors. That is why we need to create categories, right? Because inside one category, we can include all of those sub elements that are going to help us understand even more the research topic. Got it? Comme ci, comme ça. Well, at least that's far beyond an O, right? Okay. So once again, I'm going to continue right here. So we're going to evidence right here all the studies, right? All the scientific information in here, right? So, for example, in psychology, right? For example, this part of anxiety. So, what are going to do? You're going to describe what anxiety is, but of course, we need to talk about which are going to be the behaviors, right? Which is going to be well, the behaviors. What could be expected with one person being anxious or something like that. Okay. Now, what is the purpose? Let's try to understand this part, and maybe you're going to clarify your ideas here. Okay, what's that? The future predictions. What is expected to come? Okay, so for example, oral production. How do you start a course with oral production? Okay, so we start with A1 level. What do you want to expect your students to get by the end of the course? So the objectives set others. So to describe the family, to talk about familiar things, maybe to give some directions to talk at a limited time, a limited point. So those are going to be just the future predictions right here. All the future predictions are going to tell us, for example, in the research field. So, for example, if these studies or these theories are going to be helpful for some other topics, right? Far beyond our limits, and like that. Got it? And future predictions right here also, as it was a part of the psychological issue. So, for example, anxiety. So, how to describe someone that is anxious or is having an anxiety problem right now, and which could be the progression if we treat that, right? So that is going to be the future predictions. Example, and we're going to use we're going to have, for example, the progression between a 6-semester course and a 7-semester course of language, and then what is going to be the progression, or what is going to be the future predictions, so that the student from B2.2 6th semester is going to have at the end of the 7th semester, so C1.1 level, right? So is that. Let's continue here. Here. Okay, so what to take into account? What is the purpose? So here, the researcher presents the theoretical framework to place their research, what I told you before, within the perspective of other studies in the same discipline. Okay, so if we're talking about some aspects related to foreign language anxiety or foreign language, what? Foreign language anxiety and foreign language um, learning process, right? So we're going to look for that. So for those studies or those theories that are going to help us, okay? The second part says that the theoretical, ready? The second part says that the theoretical framework provides support for the proposed study by presenting known relationships about variables and setting limits or boundaries for the proposed study. So in this part, this is what the thing that I wanted to come is that you're going to play with your limits right here. Remember that you were working on the limitations. So one of the limitations right here that you haven't seen is your objectives. Why? Because you want to prove something, you want to test something, but until what point you're going to reach you're going to reach. What do you want to get? What do you want to acquire by doing this? So that is going to be one of the key factors to be taken into account here. So example, right here, we have this element, let's say the theoretical framework, and we have two variables right here, teaching and classroom management. So how to work with the classroom management for us to have a very teaching process. So, right? So we're going to use three authors in what teaching is. So Benjamin Bloom, John Dewey, and Lev Vygotsky. And classroom management, we have Bronfenbrenner, Skinner, and Maslow, right? So by using these authors, we're going to try to comprehend the nature of our research topic. Now, ideas related to or to be developed right here in the theoretical framework. So we have, you're going to start with a recommendation for further study in specific areas in previous published studies. As I told you before, it's going to be the study, right? So for example, further researchers, further studies. So for example, in the recommendation sections of every study, it is going to say something like, it is good or it is a good idea to carry on this project because by taking into account the limits of this one, we couldn't find this, and this, right? So you can continue with that, okay? So if you have found that and if you think it's going to be valuable for you, if not, leave it like that. Now, use facts, observations, and theories from previous studies to focus your ideas about new relationships among the variables or about new population under study. Therefore, the conclusions are going to be very good for you. Why? Because there you're going to say if it worked or not, right? So you can get from here both the theories inside the studies for you to see if it's useful for you, and the conclusions of the study for you to see how useful it's going to be for your study. This one right here. Let me minimize this. Okay, so it says right here, what to be taken into account for the theoretical framework. First of all, you need to present the broad theoretical foundation first, right? So you're going to give, for example, a broad definition about that, and going to summarize the most important concepts or the most important information about those theories. You're going to present the main issues about that, right? 6 minutes. Doing something a bit likely what you wrote. Exactly. That's it, right? Yeah. Easy like that. Well, it's not easy. It's going to take you a lot of time. I'm not going to tell you lies, right? Yeah, the easy part is writing. The hardest part is analyzing. Okay. Nah, I'm not telling you. I'm not going to tell you lies. This is not easy, right? But you're going to learn a lot of things from here. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So what I'm telling you is what I did and what I have found information right here. Okay. So then tie in your research. So meaning that you're going to create a discussion between what you have found inside some other researchers, right? Example, you're going to compare learning theories from, I don't know, let's say Paul Freire, um, Jean Piaget, and Lev Vygotsky talking about constructivism, right? And you're going to put it there. So this is going to be a very intelligent discussion you're going to do for you to put it inside your theory. Alex says, taking talking about variables or taking about variables. Do they have to be connected to each other or separately but connected in some way? Example, learning styles and speaking skills. Okay, what you can do is this. Number one, you're going to define what learning styles are. And number two, you're going to talk about what speaking skills are, right? By taking into account the definitions from other studies. What you can do at the end is going to be to merge uh, those definitions, right, as a conclusive paragraph or conclusive section for you to say, for example, if you have found more information about uh, learning styles related to speaking skills, and you can merge that, right? You can fuse that information, right? So it could be like that. So you can talk about that separately, but at the end, you need to mix it for you to say how useful is going to be this study for you. And that's it. Okay. Here. So the other part says theoretical foundations for quantitative research. Well, we're not going to take into account that information because we don't work with quantitative studies, just qualitative. Okay. Now, for qualitative research, what we have to take into account is going to be like this. Well, one of the things that I see and you have seen is that maybe you don't have the enough information or you haven't found enough information for you to answer your questions, right? So not to worry. You're going to try to find as much information as possible by dividing your theory into subcategories, right? For you to make it easier to be understood, right? So here, you're going to present your problem statement within the context of the qualitative inquiry method itself. So right here, what you have to take into account is that you're going to use your context with the theory for you to explain it, right? And for you to see how this problem works in your context, right? And that's it. Okay, features, but we're going to require to use another, what? Another, another space here in Zoom, okay? So I'm going to WhatsApp to give you another link, okay?